Hello everyone, how's it going? I am just getting my chat set back up because doing the streams over multiple YouTube channels, I of course managed to forget to re-sign in to the correct thing. There we go. Um, Sora, Dan, Toxent, how's it going? Pretora? You need an invite to TBC. Yeah, I saw it just a few minutes ago. You need an invite to Fed. I'll get you when I get the game open here. If I can get this over to the right window. There we go. Warfy, Dan, how's it going? I was hoping with the stream here today that I have a new microphone on the way. I was hoping that it would be here, but it is currently on a UPS truck like a mile away, so it's going to take a while for that to get here, unfortunately. Warp Core. I hit the there was a very last minute scramble to re sign in to the correct thing on StreamerBot. So I use StreamerBot here for like monitoring the chat across Twitch and all that. Kelvin bundle. I need to change the Twitch titles. Dailies. Damn it. Dailies and chatting about the Kelvin bundle. There we go. Corrected the title. Spectre, how's it going? Go to the truck and get it. It's not that simple. And the delivery drivers generally do not like it when you use the live map to go and find them and, try to get your package early. So what is the conclusion about the Kelvin bundle? Yeah, let's dive into that right off the bat. I do still plan to get there's reviews coming for each of the ships. I know I'm slow with this stuff. I'm well aware. Um, but what you guys will probably see here first this weekend is going to be just like the introductory "Is the bundle worth it?" video. And I do think the bundle's worth it. There's been a few minor issues discovered that will, see some attention over time. Dan, thank you for the super chat and bits. Greatly appreciate it. Um, for instance, there's an issue that Cheops and Mara I know have been investigating with the console off the Salcombe, where the clicky seems to slow you down and potentially make your weapons not fire as much. So that that's a bug. That is something that'll be dealt with. But I think overall, if I was to just give like an overall summary of the Kelvin bundle, is it is, like I said in that initial video, the best bundle we've seen in years. Like, Ecryptic has been listening to a lot of player concerns, feedback, and we're starting to really see that stuff pop up. How do I always manage to get this bug? But this is certainly the most cohesive bundle that we've seen in a while, where you've got a really good set of accessories that are addressing a bunch of gaps that weren't really covered in the Zen store before. You've got a lot of really good utility in there. You've got a science carrier that's got carrier accessories on it that are really good. You've got an escort, and the escort's probably the weakest of the bunch of the Salcombe. It's still a decent ship, but it definitely isn't as strong as like the Terran Hydra if you're getting into that sort of comparison. The accessories off the Salcombe though are really good, and I'll swap over to that here quick. Airlocked. We'll go back to the Salcombe in a moment, but the Armstrong also is a decent, like it's legitimately a really decent tank platform, and it's got some really good tank accessories on it. I would say, as far as the meta is concerned, because that's something a lot of people are wondering about. I would say that for like high end DPS, like there isn't that much here. Rather, what this is doing is, especially with all the crit chance and all that we're getting with the items here, is that this is making it easier for people that can't afford lockbox stuff to get up to that performance tier. Like this is budget alternatives to some of those, really fancy lockbox items. Like we're being flooded with crit chance here. The console off the Salcombe, that right there, the clicking on that's 20% critical hit chance for 30 seconds. For someone that doesn't have Terran Goodbye, Universal Designs, all the really fancy lockbox stuff, like it's giving you a way to get crit account wide, at a pretty decent price point. Steven, how's it going? Sent you a gift. Check my mail. I will in a moment. Quick question. Yeah, all that stuff's in the Zen store. All of this stuff is in the items tab, promotion unlock items, same as any other bundle we've had in the past couple years. They are all right in there in the Zen store. Don't worry, I will have it done before the crate build is out. Terrible. I will show you guys. So I've shown like some of the thumbnail stuff for this, and where is it? Phaser build. Okay, yeah, that'll probably be the review thumbnail for the Salcombe, unless I get one better. I'm just using one of their shots from the thing, but I also thought about doing like a close up like that. But let's get the review one up. Not the review, the build, not budget. We're gonna go. Yeah, I was probably just gonna use like their shots for the Salcombe because I think the lighting and all that looks really good, and that's what I'm for the Salcombe. The format that I'm looking at is basically uh just showing like phaser energy weapon builds, sort of similar to what I did for the Typhoon, was it, or Typhon? I don't remember. The one where I did a phaser build for it, and it was like CSV fire at will, because basically, CSV fire at will, beam overload, like all the do firing modes, you build the builds out like 90% the same, and then it's just a couple of ability and trait changes. Jay, how's it going? Rob, Kyle, SLB, Pepro. Are the servers still only fit for solo ISC? Yeah, Steven, like doing team play right now is rough. There is some performance improvements incoming, but we don't have them live yet. Yep, let me go over to the Fed side. Yeah, the Dreadnought Cruiser. I did an infected this morning before I went to bed, and it was doing pretty well. Thank you for the keys there, and that is greatly appreciated. Let me get you your invite. McBain, there we go. Where is Sora? Jeremiah, how's it going? But yeah, I mean, that's really the gist of what I'm gonna say though in the like the initial bundle review. Like, is it worth it? Um, it is. It is to me. I still stand by the idea that it is the best bundle that we have seen in years. Like this is also probably the most thought out bundle that we've had in quite some time. Where like the everything is synergizing well. it makes sense. The accessories are on the ships that you would hope that they'd be on. You're not in a situation where the DPS accessories are on the tank platform and the tank accessories are on the escort, like we've seen with some prior bundles. So um like it's also a case of them listening to, player feedback, player concerns, and trying to address some of those things. Is the mini bundle worth 1400 Zen? It's a question of, do you want to have uh the Gorn Bridge officers? Really, that's the thing here, and they're fun. Like if you're an absolute budget player and you have to be careful about all of your Zen expenditure, then probably not. But if you are someone that, frequently buys things in the game, for 1400 Zen, like the Gorn Bridge officers are pretty fun. They go and throw, rocks at your enemies. They're really good for ground. I was asking. No, can I send you a build sheet of what I did with it? I'll try to get something posted on the Discord, or I'll just swap to it quick so you can see. I did most of it on stream. I don't have it written down anywhere yet. Viper, how's it going? I mean, the build that I have on the Cavort also, like, was just me trying things. Like, it wasn't a perfect high-end DPS build, which is probably why I didn't share, like, the exact one I was using on stream. Um, yeah, I mean, it's there if you want to look at it, but it's, I'll go through just the tabs here. Like, there was a lot of decisions made with what I was doing on the Cavort for me to test the ship out. Basically, it's not necessarily a build that I'd say to one for one copy. I don't have like a one for one copy build done for the Cavort yet. You gave all your Gorn the KDF dagger from the last stand bundle. Yeah, this is, again, like, this was, I mean, this build works, don't get me wrong, but um when I get around to doing like a build for the Cavort, there'll probably be a few changes. Like the quad cannons, I'll be quite blunt. I think quad cannons suck. Um, I have not seen, every time I try quad cannons, I just see them underperform my normal dual heavy cannons, my normal dual cannons. They're draining engine power. Like to me, it just the quad cannons have always just felt a little. They're a visual thing. They're not performance. Um, okay, but yeah, getting back to the bundle, I guess. What else? What else do you guys want to know about it? Like, I'll have, more concentrated thoughts when I drop the video for it, which will the initial review will happen this weekend. That's not going to be the comprehensive review of every single ship. It's more of going to be, here's my thoughts on the ship, having actually, went in and used it. The things I'm trying to do different with the reviews this time around is I want to include, like, how weapons are firing from each of the ships. That's something people have asked about. Um, for like the customizations, like, I'm not going to get into Vanda shields, but um, yeah, I at least want to show like how the ship is compared to something like a Galaxy class, so people have some reference there, and just like some size and the weapons firing. I want to make sure to include in the reviews. No, I mean, if you have all of the high end stuff, and you're doing like an ISC crate build, then no. There's nothing that was released with this bundle that changes like a crate build. The point of this release is, it's not doing much for, at least for people that are chasing high end DPS that have all of the lockbox toys. You've already got better options. But what this is doing is bringing the Zen store options up much closer to what we have, from those lockbox options. So it's closing the gap between those that are only able to afford the Zen store items and those able to go for all of the lockbox toys. And it's also, even if you have the lockbox toys, like you probably don't have those account wide. So being able to go in and get this gear to put on your alts and all that, that's still extremely beneficial. Yeah. I think it's also, so that's like for DPS meta. For tanking meta, the console off of the Armstrong is pretty interesting because it can also, I know Nick and Mara were talking about this the other night in voice chat. It's a way for other builds, like non-do, to get a bit of survivability also. So in that regard, it is a bit more unique, and there isn't necessarily as much of a lockbox equivalent. Then for the carrier side, um, you know, the carrier stuff, even if you have all the fancy toys, like being able to go in and buff your pets up with this console, that's still extremely beneficial. Are the Spiral Wave Disruptor dual heavies the best in my opinion? Yeah, dual heavies or duals. If you're doing Disruptor, Spiral Waves, so it goes Terran, the single set Terran DHC that you can run, and then basically Spiral Waves. If Cryptic ever, if you don't care about DPS parsing, the Executor Disruptor cannon would also be good. But if you care about DPS parsing, that is a banned weapon due to the bugs with how it is reported. But if you don't care about DPS parsing, then it would be Terran, then Executor, and then the rest Spiral Wave. Yeah, that's a good idea, Ian. Yeah, the carrier stuff is pretty unique. Yeah, it's more of my thoughts about like the lockbox, options being better. That's more for the DPS point of view. Um, about the bundle exclusive Red Matter console, does it have any good DPS? I've seen people get like 40, 50 out of it, so it's not like the absolute top performer. It is a bit unique with the mechanic it has there. Let me pull it back up here. The banish, the banishment effect there. Banish. There's pros and cons to banish. Banish will knock the target out of visibility for 5 seconds. So that is a potential griefing weapon, but it can also potentially be exploited in some situations. Because when the foes are banished, if it's, say, the last foe before... If it's the last foe that needs to be killed before moving to the next phase or triggering the next phase of like a piece of content, then when they're banished, the game basically treats them as if they're dead. They do come back and you can still damage them, a couple seconds later, but that is something I don't necessarily have an area where that's going to be super useful right now, but that is, just a thing in the Theorycraft realm that people will most likely be investigating. Why did executors get banned again? We banned the executors from the DPS tables because when the proc goes off against certain targets, like the Transformers in Infected, it will report the entire damage or the entire HP like the full HP of that target when it kills them. The executor weapons have a proc on them where against smaller targets, when they're below 20% HP, they have a chance to just completely just insta kill them. That number's not supposed to be reported in the combat log, but it is. And because of how Cryptic has that stuff programmed, it's not, just doing the damage that was, or the, damage equivalent to the HP left on the target. It is doing the full HP. So it could go off on a target that, may have initially had, 10 million hit points, but it was down to, at the time of the proc going off, it only had 1 million left. But the way it would be reported in the combat log is that it did 10 million damage. So that can inflate numbers quite a bit. When the Impersonance was in its really overpowered mode and the executor weapons had just dropped, we were playing around with those, and like the executor proc in some runs was doing like 500,000 DPS. Like, and it, it wasn't actually doing that. It was just inflating numbers and just, it just was really bad for the scene. So we banned it. Is Twinkling Lights still worth the space trade slot? Yeah, Twinkling Lights is still the way to go. Like, if you are chasing maximum performance right now, the rainbow setups are still like at the very high end. That's the meta. Even if you're doing like a pure disruptor, pure phaser setup, I mean that's still a good amount of debuff from a personal trait. Will I be testing the Newton? Yeah, I'll be looking at all of the ships here. But what I want to start out with is actually the I want to start here with the Salcombe. So I'm gonna go into a patrol here really quick, and basically the issue that was found by Cheops and Mar, and I know a few others have noticed this also, is that when the console clicky is in use, it seems to slow you down and also perhaps slow your weapons down. So people have been saying that like using this console, it is resulting in them losing a good chunk of their damage output. So where is it? Sigma Stratagem. I need to get a weapon up on screen here just so we can see the firing cycle. So I'm going to activate my fleet power. So we see you can see 0.3 seconds. Look at that. As soon as I hit that, you can see I'm blipping back up to 0.72, then back down to 0.29. Like, I know that was like a little bit hard to see there, but yeah, so basically it's like when the Sigma console's on, it is negatively impacting your weapon firing cycle haste, which is clearly not intended. I've posted one on the Discord within the past month or two, I believe. If you go to the CasualSAB channel, the CasualSAB Discord, and scroll down to Spencer Builds, there's a thread area. And in that thread area, you can see the June revision of the crate. Let's see here. That's pretty much up to date. Because even though Miradorn came in, Miradorn's uptime's not quite as good as the Triptych. So for this build, I'm still using the Triptych. I mean, that That still looks good to me. I mean, it's just a temporary bug. That is definitely something that they will, go in and address. So we're going to repeat that test here. The other thing is too is apparently this is slowing down. Like the other report was that using this was slowing people down. So there's two aspects to this. I need to get my phaser beam raised there again. Again, so we want to look at the recharge time on the weapons. I'm going to get my haste up here. So we see 0.75 right now. Okay, 0.3. 0.3, we see that quite consistently. I need to have my firing mode up. That would help. Chat is covering it. No. Okay. We'll redo that. I need to wait for the consoles to come back up then. Yeah, so part of it is a report that the flight speed is taking a hit because of this, and then the firing cyclist. Yeah, the favorite quadrant stuff, or the featured one, I think we'll see that stuff fixed here in the near future.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Just waiting for the consoles to all come back up. Gonna Vilvin again, and that should do it. Okay, so you can see 2.1 seconds there on my beam overload. And now when I hit fleet power, that takes it to 0.75. And when I hit this console, it drops a little bit. Then 0.29. Oh, no, that's because my beam overload went away. 0.72. Not seeing the same blips I saw before. But, yeah, the point is, like, when Cheops and Mar were looking at this, it seemed like there was definitely some issues popping up with the console. Do we know if haste traits console's counteracted, or is it a set speed drop that overrides everything completely? I don't know that quite yet. And that first test that I did, I'm realizing, the one where it was going between the 0.29 and the 0.7, was that just because my beam overload was dropping off? I don't know, but there's a thread for it over on the Discord, and I'll pull it up on screen. But again, the crate angle, I know I need to get the video done for it, but that it is posted over in the Discord. The crate angle from June is over there, and that's like the most recent and still like the current revision, at least for myself. The traits are a little bit different because I took that picture on my engineer. So if you're on attack, you would do like a good day to die, stuff like that. But yeah, the consoles, that looks right. I mean, you could do. What I found is the antimatter interweave can still outdo the GOM2 for that stuff, but yeah. Okay. Bugs and issues. Oh, where is it? almost like there's been a few bug reports. I definitely have scrolled past it here. Okay, I'm looking for Cheops. I'm going to just search here from Cheops. Okay, so it looks like it solo's unaffected, so everything I did just there doesn't actually matter. But the I mean Cheops and a few others wanted to call instead of crate they wanted to call it the mingle. But that's just Cheops being Cheops. Logical has gone. Um yeah, so it looks like this is a team play issue. So the nothing I just did there in that patrol actually mattered. Okay. I believe the team haste effect is broken. The moment the team aspect goes off, the console begins to immediately cause your movement stats to wildly fluctuate. It also seems to affect weapons and their ability to fire. Yeah, so there's a thread for it over on the Discord. But if you've used the Salcom console in TFOs and noticed a negative impact from it, that's entirely a bug right now. Scuba, thank you for the sub 22 months in a row. No, you haven't missed much. I've been all over the place, as usual. Okay. We are going to get rid of the Voth ships one. Team play issue explains. Axel's gone. Okay. So we're going to start here, though, still using the Salcom, but I am going to drop the console because right now it is not doing what we would want it to. Instead, I will. I don't have agony on, or no, I do have agony right there. Tachyon net drones. Tachyon net drones. Now that we can use that, just freely, with like no activation time, it's really, really quite nice. Okay, where did that go on my tray? Yeah, it wants us to do Days of Doom. Is the Kelvin bundle worth picking up? Yeah, I still stand by my initial assessment that it is the best bundle that we have seen in years. If you're a min-max meta, DPS chaser and you have all of the toys, then it doesn't change anything for you. But it is giving the Zen store a lot of good gear for tanking, carriers, and for like budget to mid-range builds. It's a lot of crit chance for DPS builds. So if you can't afford all of the lockbox toys, or you don't want to buy those on multiple characters, then the accessories here are giving you a lot of really good account-wide gear. Cheops, we were just talking about your bug report. Would the NP console be needed on your build, or no difference to what you're using now? Sora, I'm trying to remember everything you have on your build. Like you do a couple different things than what I normally do. I think the MP console's good, but I know you have a different set of preferences for the consoles you like to run. The thread you put up for the Salcom. Like I was just showing that off. Like the I I did a really bad test. I didn't realize that it needs to be done in team play, so I was looking at it in a patrol, and I'm just waking up, and my initial my brain's not there. Don't have the brain power, but we're gonna just run some TFOs here. You want to get it, but damn, you hate the look. 2 of the 3 ships, terrible. Let's start. We're going to cycle through the ships here. So let's see. What do we want to do here? I don't want to start with infected. We'll do infected in a moment, you know, but let's get something else out of the way here first. Let's do it to hell with honor elite. To hell with honor is always fun. You know what? Let's see. Do I want to do a different console? Should you get the Obina for antimatter interweave is really good. I don't know like what your budget is for your build, but I'm assuming high if you're going for lockbox stuff like that. It is legitimately a really good console. The GOM 2 is a nice budget alternative to it. But yeah, the Obina console, I do use it quite often on my like min-max builds nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, you run like the Vokhtar console, which I don't really do. Also, the GOM 2 console you want to have down in the science slot. The GOM 2, the science slot does the most. Yeah, you need to swap that down. I will be honest. I'm having mixed results from the Cavort console on my crate. Can I post a link to the May crate build? It's if you go to the CasualSAB channel. So go to the CasualSAB Discord. Go down to Spencer Builds. There's a. I need to get rid of this here. Let's permissions and make it so nobody can see the old one. Cannot make the channel private. Okay. There's a thread channel here, and if you go in there, it's right there.
To all true Klingon vessels, and
Yeah, for sure, chaps. Let me see what the hell is going on here. Who gave this person permission so I can go yell at them?
go to Shipyard Alpha.
Yeah, if you click a lot, you're with the higher performance builds too. Like you gotta use keybinds if you want maximum performance. Like especially like if you're chasing like the high end numbers in infected. Yeah, just to be blunt about it, you will not get. You cannot copy my current crate build and get like numbers up there with what I'm seeing on it without doing keybinds. Like there's those sorts of builds are running specialized keybinds to like go in and select a certain target at different points. Like you aren't doing that sort of stuff without keybinds. Like it ain't happening. Like at the very end, we're going in with those sorts of builds, and we are swapping to gateway to the tac cube, and we may not even be able to like actually click them at that point. Like, yeah, those sorts of builds you gotta have keybinds. Darthon, I appreciate the support here for this meta beam overload build, as I forget an enemy. Okay, we gotta get beta. Terrible. You know exactly what it is there. Isocon's like the alternative, but still, I mean, it's just always important to keep in mind. Like, if you want to get higher performance, like, keybinds are like a huge part of it. There's limits to how much you can click. Yeah, there's also like the online keybind tool nowadays. I've been using the application right on the my desktop for such a long time. I need to just get used to the new one though. Galactic, how's it going? Yeah, I am right now. I will say that for the sort of build I'm doing right now with like beam overload, that's not the wisest thing for me to use. Oh, railgun barrage, yeah. Yeah, this is still like the build I set up the other day that's like just beam overload, and beam overload, I've been very vocal about before, and it upsets people every time I say I don't really like it. Beam overload is purely like an emergent choice. Like if you're on a beam overload build and ever want to just do more damage, you just swap it out for fire at will. I think with this build, I would be better off using the experimental off of the Orion interceptor. How do you do the keybind for your whole account? So once you've got keybinds done, you need to do this in space, but you can like save your entire UI, your UI layout, your keybinds, and then you can load that right onto your other characters right through the interface here. Yeah. The Cavort console, yeah, I think for most people the Cavort console is really good. It's just that like for me, like I'm just saying, like the solo runs I have found they don't necessarily keep up as well, or they're taking away from other things that might do more damage. But I mean, it's still good. And that there's like part of the STO dilemma of you do draw more threat, but you also gain access to more survivability tools. Because if you're doing fire at will, you can use things like the Valdor console to help quite a bit. Don't worry, beam overloaders. As an Inji, I can relate to the frustration over his elitism. Oh no. Logical, what are we gonna do with you? Okay, we're gonna drop supercharged weapon. Actually, no, I can leave supercharged on. Um, I will drop this here. Hold on. Let's get Breen Free Fire on. And I can go back to Hellbore. Actually, I will probably, yeah, I'll do Hellbore over the supercharged weapons here. Which of the 3 ships in the Kelvin bundle do I recommend the most? What is your playstyle? Out of all the DPS metas from all these years, do I have one that I enjoyed the most? I mean, I like where we're at right now because there are so many different paths to getting, high numbers. Like, as much as I am not personally a fan of like single target firing modes, I think they're terrible. You can still go through and do those and get like a million damage, like a million DPS. Like the things that, but we're at a point with power creep that you can take the things that I am not a fan of that I say are terrible, and you can still do more than enough to solo content with them. Um, you know, like the amount of power creep we have now, like we've never had as many options for achieving high performance as we do now. Um, and I know that there's a lot of hyperfixation on certain play styles. But even if you're not a fan of things like that, there's a part of the player base, some of you watching right now, that absolutely, for instance, loathe like the uncon play style. Like you don't like the console spam, but you can still go in and do massive amounts of damage even without focusing on uncon. Um, like we've never had as much room to explore to diversify our builds as we do right now. Do I think we will get a JJ mining laser console on the Narada? No. That console's already in the game on the Talaru. Will the crate build include the skill tree? There will probably be an updated skill tree video at some point. Is it power creep or just more ways to do better? There's definitely, it's a mix of both. Like there's been a massive increase in power potential. 5 years ago, like a million, was like the high end, and now, solo runs are pushing past 4 million. Um, so it's a combo of both. It's that there's a lot more power to push builds, but also that there's been a lot of alternatives introduced. Yeah, theme builds have a lot of power potential too. I mean, I'm sort of running some like light theme builds here with the Kelvin ships, and on the stream you guys saw me do the other day, like I was doing really well with them. Um, is the Newton? Yeah, the Newton's really good for the trait and console. The platform versus the arc rail, that's going to depend on what you're doing, and I know that's an answer that generally pisses people off, but um, as with a lot of things in STO, there's a lot of variables at play, so it really depends. The arc rail and the Newton are both really good, but they're good in different ways. Like the arc rail still has the lead for just going in and doing just raw console spam. Um, the Newton though, with the command inspiration, that gives you a few more options for alternative ways to do things. Like, for instance, if you were trying to use the trade off the friendship, you'd be able to do that much better with the Newton to give all your pets a bit more of a boost. So I guess my And I don't delve too much into all the specifics of the carrier like meta, but my like outside viewpoint on that stuff is that the Arc Royal is going to take the lead when it comes to a build that's a bit more focused on console spam, while the Newton is going to have potential to boost the pets up perhaps a little bit more. I am running the railgun that the ship comes with. I can tell you guys that I did do a couple infecteds with this the other day, and this experiment weapon, you can get it to fire incredibly fast. I had it at points going like every two to 3 seconds, like right around there. You can get it to go off often, but even when you're getting it that fast, it still is below the other options. Oh, it's much better than the other railgun. Much, much better. Beam overload with enough firing haste becomes single shot boom fall with the right traits. With metas of the past, it really is one copy-pasted build among everyone. Uncon opens up so many options, yeah. The Uncon playstyle, it's absolutely hated, and I mean, I've shown comments, people have left on videos saying that all of us using Uncon should be put down. Some people get that mad about it, but like what those people don't realize is that it is an approach that opens up the option to do so many unique things in the game. Okay. Newton can easily do random elite TFO analysis with low gear thanks to Inspiration and Suppression Barrage, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I forgot to mention Suppression Barrage, because you can also treat the Newton as like a Gravwell 3 tank. Because you can still do Suppression Barrage, you can do your Gravwell 3. Like the Newton is really, really good. I'd make him more mad, oh yeah. Yeah, there's some people in the STO community. We've talked about this before, but it's like I'm trying to remember the exact word. Militant casuals, I think was I forget who said it. STO has a good chunk of players who absolutely hate the DPS chase, and some of them will display quite a bit of toxicity. Militant casual, yeah, there we go. I would say for your event campaign reward, I mean, if you have a promo ship you want to get, I would use the event campaign on that instead. If you have 4 boxes, then just grab the Obina with one of those. That's pretty much it, Gotta Rage. Zone Chat Warriors, yeah. Also, if Uncon gets nerfed in then 5 minutes, yeah. That's the thing too, is whenever there's something that is the best, people are not happy. That's just how it's always been. Okay, but let's get into another TFO. Let's do an Infected. Infected, the Conduit Elite, going in with the Salcombe with a fire wheel setup. I'm going to drop the micro missiles, and I'm going to put the Pavan Omni back on. And the Pavan Omni is going to contribute a very nice chunk of damage here. Yeah, so the only thing I'm missing versus like a normal build is sequential and the micro. It'll be fine. There's certainly some there. Some there, some on Discord. It's the same places as usual. I want to see a militant CasualSAB. Oh no. You queued before me? Oh, Cheops, how dare you. Yeah, I'd say too, the Salcombe appears to have the most interest from people from what I've seen. I think it's because the visuals of it look the best. Yeah, I mean, I get the idea of having some more challenging content, but I don't know. It'll be a while before we see that stuff again. I got Cheops in here, and he's gonna bring all the deeps, and Salcombe is not gonna keep up for this run, chat.
Ship is under attack.
Scanning the nanite strip. Got it. Additional ignition available.
Right shield failing.
Flying right past everything. Cheops got the agony. How dare you?
Prepare the transporters. Stop them.
Start your own militant casual channel. Terrible. Whoa.
The probe is closing in on the transporter. Destroy it.
Cheops in here with the big beats. 2.9 million. How can Spencer be a militant casual when he's a top fleet player? Can confirm Sigma console is slowing you to a stop. That's why I dropped it on this run. I should have had it on just to show people. But there is Cheops with the big guns. No agony on that. Did my agony not go off? Yeah, the numbers you're getting out of that ship are crazy, Cheops. What is my firewall uptime? So I'm thinking that was start of the run. No. Okay. So I missed fire at will for the first. Let's pull that back up here. Yeah, my first fire at will misfired. Yeah. Did I see Bort's comments about the Cavort a few days ago? Said the buyout revenue is really bad compared to the Noble. I did not see that, Stanky Boy. Was that just in, like, general chat there? Yeah, had a few misfires. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're fire will... Or no, you're doing CSV. Yeah, you barely had CSV up in your run. Terrible. In bridge chat. I guess that's just showing, I thought the Cavort would do better in that regard, but I guess that is just showing then that it just really is, just fed ships. People want their fed hero ships. Anything else just isn't going to move the needle like that. And I mean, I guess the Noble was really an outlier, being like the first good sovereign, so that definitely had that going forward also. I wonder, with how successful the Noble was, it does make you wonder if that had been a dilithium buyout, what would that have done? Cavort Cry was allowed minority? Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I mean, the interest I've seen video wise has been pretty good, but I guess when it comes down to people pulling out their wallet and spending money on it, it's nothing compared to the Noble. That's a shame. I was hoping that would be a way we could get non-fed chips via events. Yeah, it was a horrible run for me. Cheops coming in. Cheops is on the Ariori Juggernaut and is just nuking everything. Look at those lithium numbers. 577k. Cheops, I'm streaming, so I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but I can at least show you that there, Cheops. Agony next nerf. Uh, yeah, Cheops has his builds posted right in the right in the builds Discord. I mean, there's also the fact that people have probably already spent their money this year. Yeah, I mean that's a factor too, and the just like the little, the economic situation in the world's a little bit different than it was earlier this year, so that could be another factor. Um, well, this is specifically about the buyout. Yeah, potentially. Okay, let's go over to a different ship here. I'll do weapon damage beta ground. Noble came out alongside the Grawl, and the Grawl was pretty much just a ship instantly forgotten about. The Cavort came out alongside a brand new full bundle, yeah. That is true. We'll do the Newton. Actually, no, we'll do a Hive next with the Armstrong. Guess make good KDF ships and they'll sell. Doesn't really apply anymore, yeah. I think, I mean, I want to see here. Let's see. Endeavor. Where are you at? Videos. So, how did Endeavor's videos do? Oh yeah, the Salcombe came out on top, then the Newton. Okay, Newton second. That's interesting. Uh the Cavort video for Endeavor 2.7 there. I mean 2.7k on the Cavort, like that's pretty good. The GOM 2, just no interest in that. I mean, look at that. Yeah, the Noble 9.1k, 6.3. Endeavor, you were farming some views there, bud. Yeah, Hellbore is still relevant. Show the lens flare Vandy Shield? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so the lens flare Vandy Shield does add a an effect. Also, I just realized there's a lot of, I need to get more lighting in here. The prompter is like has a glow right now when I'm looking at my webcam. Okay. Let's get the Kelvin Radiance. So you see there, it added a bunch of effects right to my screen. This is the Vandy Shield included in the bundle. It's also given me like a lens flare on the engines and all that on the ship. Yeah. You think it might get flagged? Okay, let me pull up. Yeah, I don't even see the links. Thank you, boy. Just drop it in Discord. Hi, sirs. Yeah, the new episode is good. The Grawl was a lockbox ship that dropped earlier this year, and it was just one of those lockbox ships that was immediately forgotten about. Not a very popular ship. Yeah, I thought the first episode of this season was good. Okay, I'm gonna go into Hive Onslaught Elite, and I guess I'll try to tank this up a little bit. I'm not like in a fully heavy tank, but we'll give it a go. See how it all goes. If you can see the screen, there's not enough lens flare. Apparently, in the one of the test versions they had for this, it basically like blinded the just completely filled the entire screen with lens flare. I'm on Hive Onslaught Elite. A Beacon of Kalis, Evander Shield, yeah. Yeah, well, Sora, there's a lot of supply. A lot of supply. Yeah, Darthon, the Armstrong is certainly a unique ship. Um, well, the thing is, this vanity effect, it's only like visible to you. Like it's something that you are seeing. You installed render shade to increase lens flare in Yukani Bridge? Oh no. It's much better than the original railgun, but the visuals are drastically different, Chris. Like, massively different. Like, this is a bright blue beam coming from your ship. You're done with the Delta market? Sounds like the Delta market is just done with you there. Logical.
Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
On range broadside, terrible. Well, Cheops, I'm in a tank build, and it's tanking a lot, you know. A lot of tanking going on in this one.
Efforts are futile. Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
Yeah, a lot of tanking going on in that one. Taxon 55.92. Maximus in there taking some threat also. I mean that was such a fast run. There wasn't really much going on healing wise. The console off of the Armstrong getting a bit of shield healing there. Not as much on the HP side though. No. Yeah, as you get towards higher performance levels, there isn't a need for tanking. But most people aren't at that level. Like, and that's something I know Nick has brought up to me and others, that even though I'm not like super positive about tanking nowadays, as someone that used to tank a lot. It is important to keep in mind that there are still a lot of people where that tanking stuff can be very beneficial to them. So it is important to still cover that stuff. So the Armstrong here giving us some really nice tanking accessories. The console here, the passives on that, 15% max hull capacity. If you don't have threatening stance on, it's giving you 6% crit chance. If you do have threatening stance on, then it's 150% threat gen. The clicky, giving you some threat gen also if you have threatening stance on, along with some more survivability. Like it's just really good. Especially for a Zen store option, like even if you're on a DPS build, like a budget deeps, like that's 6% crit chance, 15% max hull capacity, which is still going to help you, and that's more crit chance with Tyler's duality. Then you're still also getting the survivability perks from the clicky. Like it's a really good console, and also, going back to what I was talking about before about this bundle and some recent releases showing that the devs are listening. The the stuff about having perks for, or different perks for, if you have threatening stance on or off, that seems to have come from them learning in conversations and interviews with myself, Nick, and others throughout the year that a lot of DPS builds nowadays run threatening stance on. That means that they want to introduce incentives for DPS builds to not run threatening stance, and they want to make sure for builds that are running threatening stance that they have tools available to get more threat gen. Is the Valdor still a must for tanks? It's still a good tool, but I think that there's certainly enough alternative shield healing nowadays that you can get away without it. Like it's still an incredible option, don't get me wrong, but like there's a lot of shield heals available to us right now. Like I think I had a Budding Alliance on. And a Budding Alliance, like that gives really good shield healing also. Honestly, with a Budding Alliance, I probably don't need the Valdor. Yeah, how's it going? Um 3 fed ships again? No, it is. Here's the controversial take. The majority of players only care about fed ships. I don't like it. I really don't like it. But we're seeing it even on like the content creator side. Like you look at the amount of interest there is. Look at Endeavor. Endeavor does a lot of these like demo record videos. Now, when you're looking through this, it's almost always the fed ships are far above anything else. The Cavort, for being a non-fed ship, did pretty well. So did the Vulcan ship, of course, also did really well. But when you go through and look, you see some of these alien options. Like here's the Gomtu. It's got a video after it that did 3.4K, the video before it 8.6K, and it did 451. You look at the Orion Orchid, 491. Like I want more alien ships. Like I want more non-fed stuff, but the numbers don't lie. I mean, even look at, for the legendary Negvar versus the legendary Nebula, legendary Delon, like there's just less interest. And even though some of these ships, have gotten a lot of views on the Fed side, that also doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing particularly well. But it's still the point is that overwhelmingly, if they're saying that the Cavort buyout hasn't done very well for them, I mean, it's just The issue is what we talk about wanting more non-fed stuff, but when it comes to the amount of engagement that stuff is getting, it I guess just is not. It's not showing the demand. The actual demand is matching the talk. How many times have we taken issue with their monetization practices and potential greed? We all know full well they're out to make as much money out of us as they can. If non-fed ships made that money, you better believe they'd do it. Yeah. Yeah. I think unless it's like a really stellar non-fed ship, then yeah. Same as a 5-3 Odyssey. Oh no. Okay. So that was the Armstrong tanking in a hive. It wasn't there really wasn't much tanking there to be honest, because there's a lot of DPS in there, but still that was good. But let's go to the Newton. The Newton I set up the other day as like a carrier build. So I am going to be running a carrier build here with the Kelvin timeline assault drones off of the Vengeance. And yeah, I probably can drop a few more of these hangar craft consoles here. Do I have any other good pet consoles to slot on? Let's see. I'm just looking at what I have on right now. This here too, like, even for myself here, if I ever run into a situation where I just want to catch up on like what is the current, what is the current meta for a certain play style. Over in the builds Discord, we have discussion channels for each of the main play styles. There's curated builds also. So if you want to see, some high-end builds have been posted. Though a lot of them are Parrot posting some things. I need to get some more builds posted over there. Uh, let's see here. If I go to ship builds, we also have the ability to like filter, for certain playstyles. So I can do carrier, and you can look through here and see, what are other people doing for carrier builds, stuff like that. So let's see here. Dilla, are there any, what are the big hangar consoles I'm missing right now? No, that's not really, that's more of like generic DPS. Yeah, that's a good point. So there's also the assimilator console, I believe, that's got a passive crit buff for it. So I need to get the console off the friendship here. I just got to remember its name. Oh, hold on. STO wiki. Yeah. Power transfer. Are there any full carriers with an experimental weapon? No. Thank you. And then I think it was assimilate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the assimilator's got a console too. Yeah, disassemble and analyze. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Okay. Or yeah, it does. Okay, 10% increased hanger pet crit chance right there. Disassemble. Okay, reclaim time. Yeah, I think I've got those on. Yeah. Echelon console too. Oh, we got anytime I can show off the Echelon console, that's good. Just remembering what it's called. Tracer payloads, okay. Yeah. Look, I haven't had a coffee in days. That's my issue right now, okay, chat? It's really quite horrific. Yeah, I got it. Nope, enraged. There's no such functionality on PC. Um, that would be something you would have to do on your own. Gemini device, I know the summons from that are pretty good. I don't like that Gemini slows you down when you activate it, but I guess it's not as big of an issue with this build. It is terrible. It really is quite terrible that I have not had coffee in a while. Okay. I don't remember if this is a console I can spam bar, but we'll spam bar to start things off. I don't even remember. I forget. We were out of the main stuff that I normally like, and we were gonna order some the other day, and it was out of stock. So we've got other coffee I could make. It's just not as good. But I've been a big fan of the some of the Nescafe. I forget it's some of the espresso stuff. Can I tell them to unlock the ROM drone ships? I would love for them to do that. I would love to see the ROM drone ships unlocked, and I think that's been brought up before. Janeway look disapproval, yes. Okay. 3 minutes for infected. Let's give another pass over on the build here quick. So I got Hellboron. I've got the repurposed cargo bay. Scramble fighters. I should have the trade off this ship on. It looks like it got deslotted on accident, so let's get that back on. That is Event Horizon Safeguard. You want me to put Sigma on? I'll do another one with the Salcombe and a little bit with the Sigma console on, okay? Really quick though, I'm going to check something. I have a package coming from UPS here, and it should be any moment. Wow, this guy's close. The UPS guy's close, but it's still going to be like half an hour. I picked up a new microphone recently. I'm really excited to try it out. So I guess while we're waiting for Infected here, which has another minute on it, I've been running the SM7B for a while. You know, it's the like really popular iconic creator microphone, but I got a good deal on an Electro Voice RE20. Be easier if I just pull it up. So the RE20 is like a really popular microphone, and I got a deal with Capital One Shopping where basically, because it saw the when I do my shopping, I use Chrome, and so it can give me some deals and all that. But it saw that I looked at this, and it gave me an offer for 200 cash back on the purchase. So basically, got the microphone after taxes for like well under half of what it would cost new. So that'll be interesting to play around with, but that's what I'm waiting for today. It's been almost 10 years since you played. How many STFs do they have now? Quite a few. The issue with the Obelisk 4-piece is that can consume some of the buffs that my other pets would be absorbing. That's also that's eating up a lot of space. There's a lot of TFOs though, much more than there used to be. Happy. There's still a lot that you're going to recognize, but there have been quite a few additions. I'm very happy you got that deal and could share a more intimate look at your streaming setup and what it's like to be a content creator. Terrible Cheops. I know, nobody cared. Okay, public queue of infected. Here we go. I'm going in with the Newton on a carrier setup. Oh, one of my doffs even fell off. I didn't even notice. Okay. There we go. Gotta keep humbling the guy before he buys a jet. Dude, I don't even have a like I don't even have like my own house or anything. I'm not gonna buy a jet, logical. That ain't happening.
The situation is grim.
Yeah. That's a good point, Darthon.
When we will begin assimilating our culture and technology.
Scanning the nanostrip. Gone. Additional data is available.
A little bit of activation delay right there.
The nanite probe will repair the transporters. Stop them.
Can I move? Bomb, misfire. Abilities are just going off horribly right now.
Our defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
I am 336k. Okay, what the hell is on my tray that was like not letting me hit other things there? What was my firewall uptime? Very enjoyable experience. I mean, 338K, that's like the worst I've done in a long time, but we got to see the carrier build in action. Let's try another TFO. No, that was not lag. That's not a server issue. That's our internet. I'm kidding. The servers have been so good. Let's do a Kittimer. Kittimer, I hear, is a very stable TFO. Skill issue. Why the Salchrome console isn't meta worthy? I mean, if you're at the it is for like budget to mid range players that don't have all the lockbox crit chance toys. But the issue is that once you're at the higher level, like we've been at like 100% crit chance for at or around that for a while, and there's no point of going above 100% crit chance. There's no point to go above that. So it's alt meta, yeah. Daniel has a gun. HE sped up my carrier suffering. Clicks and keybinds, yeah. Keybinds are a huge thing.
There are 2 active Borg transport conduits in this system, along with a stable spatial rift, which is emitting
The issue with the Salcom console right now is what Chaps was pointing out it does in team play, where it is going in and slowing you down, and also like making your weapons potentially not fire as much. I use my carrier, pretty sure. I'll put that even back on the tray here. Wait, what's disassembles? 1 second activation, so probably be a bit more careful about hitting that. Yeah.
Drones are headed for the time pit. Stop them!
Disarm your weapons. You will escort us to your own world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
This is an enjoyable experience.
You will be assimilated.
The servers, the activations are horrible right now, chaps.
Surrender your vessel and prepare for assimilation.
Even Admiralty is misfiring. Sora, thank you for the bits. Oh yeah, I need to go open the lock boxes you sent over. Let's go do that. The servers are just absolutely miserable right now. Like trying to get any of the activations going. Lockville, appreciate it. The game just got too expensive. I mean, there's been this year especially, you know, a lot of things that have been very accessible that are really good. But I understand, like especially on the lockbox side. Looks like a new solo record imminent. Oh, I missed a gifted. Spud, thank you for gifting to Darthon. Appreciate that. When you target an enemy and it immediately untargets that's not something I've really experienced. That I almost wonder if you have like a control setting to auto target what just shot you or something. Let's go Epic Creator Code. Or no, what was I doing? Carl Sagan. We're gonna open the lock boxes on Carl Sagan here. Sora, thank you, thank you. 5 master keys. Do I get lucky? That T5 ship box is always just such a tease. Always such a tease. Carl Sagan, the legend. Every time I mispronounce that name or any other name, people get so mad, and I'm not even like intentionally doing it. It's just that I mispronounce a lot of things, okay? I'm sorry. I've got issues. I haven't slotted things on this fleet in a while. Let's see here. Open to lithium trading, develop. There are server performance improvements incoming, but that I don't know when they're going to drop them. They're needed though. Like I like outside of doing these streams, I have people ask, you know, do I do like public TFOs? No. I basically outside of doing these streams, if you see me like playing content in game, it's probably me doing solo stuff. I basically like the server situation got frustrating enough that, you know, a while back, like for me, most of my TFO play I migrated to just doing solos. Like doing team-based infecteds isn't really a thing anymore. For like the high-end DPS scene, because the servers just cannot handle it. The servers do not like it when there's a lot of highly developed characters and accounts in the same thing together. Paul, the Kelvin phasers are just purely there for immersion. It's part of the charm of the channel. Is it worth the wait? I mean, if you want to save some money, yeah. I mean, there's nothing... This is a good bundle. It is a very good bundle. But at the same time, like if you're a meta chaser, there's nothing here that you need right this very moment. If you want to wait for a 35% discount, then go for it. Like, but the accessories for tanking, for carriers, and for like budget and mid-range or alt DPS, like they're really good. But I mean, if you want to wait for a better sale, then I mean that's going to save you like 10-15 bucks. I mean, it's really the Salcombe accessory there that was like the most bugged, right? So let me go back to that with the console. Feel like this is a good candidate for if you only ever want to buy one bundle ever in STO, you could do worse, yeah. Even if you are someone, you know, with a lot of the lockbox toys, it's still really good for alts because you don't have all those lockbox items on your alt characters. You know, we'll do a beam overload. We'll just stick with the beam overload. We'll use the Salcombe console here. What is the next? Let's do a cure. Cure found elite public queue. Yeah. Is there any... Well, what meta? If you're talking DPS meta infected, no. If you're running like a mirror angle, high-end like crate build, there's nothing from this bundle that's going to change your build. If you're someone that is newer to the game, has lots of alt characters, you're doing carrier stuff, you're doing tank stuff, then yes, this bundle does have things that are going to be beneficial to you. Dan, they're already working on fixes. It's just the most recent set of performance improvements that they had over on the triple test server. They were not able to push out immediately due to some security concerns, I guess. Yeah, Salcombe is the best platform in the Shepherd family. I guess. I don't remember all of the other options, but yeah, 521's pretty strong. I bought Shangri-La and the trade is still bugged, so I don't know, is it worth to buy the whole bundle or just buy what works at this time and hope? No. That's fair. Cryptic has a habit of things not getting fixed after release. Zap Bash, I mean they're fine. They're not any better than other disruptors. Not any worse than your normal crafted. I mean, if you like the visuals, then go for it. Any difference between the Newton and Arc Rail carriers? The Newton has better accessories. The Arc Rail has the more meta, you know, buff layout still. Do I think that there will be an angle killer coming out someday? Not anytime soon. I think that it would take a really crazy amount of power creep for that to happen. And my parser on. Yeah. I'm just the server performance is not working for me today. Or a meta shift, yeah. Probably pushing some processing to client side, which could have security issues if not done correctly. We're going to drop the Salcombe console because that is causing some issues. And just thinking, I'll have more options when I leave the map here. Yeah, the server performance is just absolutely garbage right now. Overload is making the railgun perform worse. Yeah. I know. I know. Let's see here. That graph is looking pretty funky. The server's doing really rough right now. 678k in a Pug ISE despite performance going on. Yeah. I'm gonna grab the experimental off this again, and we're going to slap it onto the mirror angle. And you know what? I'll go to. I think I did this on my engineer the other day. Let's go over to the engineer. Hold on. UPS is just saying my package won't be delivered here today. It was saying it was, and then it's just said that there was some sort of error. As a console player who's trying to get all 17 characters to complete the story, you have 0 server issues. Maybe after the update, the Aegis set stats. I don't think there will be any changes to the Aegis set. Let's go. Okay, I've got the experimental on, and I know you guys get very tired of seeing me go in and do these things solo, so we will go in and just do a public queue. I will bring in the mirror angle, and we'll see how it goes. Anna, it's the I don't want to be like in a negative mood about it, like the things right now, but right now the server performance sucks. It's like drained my my will to keep going at this for a super long stream. Should really use the Sigma here for maximum WTF? No. No, it's the net graph, like abilities are not going off when I hit them. I can even Keybind stream. We can see when I hit the keys. Ups. Terrible.
The situation.
Of course.
Dishonorable weapons. You will escort us to your own world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
Scanning the nanite. God. If the weakness is failed. The nanite probe can repair the transport. Stop them.
No, we had someone trolling. If you use the Gemini device console at the start of Infected, you can pull the start group during the briefing phase timer, so people that are trying to screw with the DPS run will go in and hit that to screw with the run. It is just something you have to deal with if you're dealing with a public environment. Okay, let's see here. The servers have been just a joke today. Jay, you haven't missed anything. Let's see. What did the experimental do? The railgun did 73.5 on this one. Yeah. I mean, I've had some pretty good runs with it. I think this parse... Yeah, I mean, look at this one from the other night. Like, I got 44 hits out of it in that run. It wasn't the best solo, but still, like, it was basically one shot every 2 or so seconds. So on a high haste build, you can get that railgun to go off a lot. Is the mud bundle any good? Yeah, I mean the Kelvin Muds bundle, yeah, that is currently in the store right now, and I did put a comment in the news video from the other day. I saw the message from Sora just after I'd like published the video. But yeah, the Muds Into Darkness and Beyond choice pack is back in the store right now for the next like 2 or so weeks. It's good. It still is like one of the better Muds bundles for like the diverse ships that you're getting from it. Meta wise, it's not really, you know, as relevant, but you know, for giving yourself a variety of ships, a variety of platforms to play around with, like it's got a lot in there. I know the Vengeance is like a big interesting item from it also, but my recommendation would actually be to go for the other 3 ship options. The Vengeance is like one of the cheapest ships in the game to obtain. So I would go for the Kelvin timeline starships, the heavy destroyers, and the Vulcan experimental scout ship. The Vulcan scout ship that actually comes with the Kelvin micro quad photons on it. So if you like the little Kelvin torpedoes, basically you get infinite of those account wide if you get the Vulcan scout vessel here. For contrast, on that same run, you got 119 from Inertia. Yeah. I think the experimental off the Salcombe is good. It's definitely one of the stronger Zen Store options, but I don't, it's still not like a top 5 contender. The Vengeance is a really good ship, but it's also a Lobby ship, which means that it's like $15 worth of keys on the exchange. Guillotine Elite, sure. I don't have like testing from like this release here, but I used it at some point in the past year and it was like really bad. Um in the Salcombe review, I'll make sure to get some like railgun versus railgun testing. Let's put the no, let's swap ships here. Let's go back to the Armstrong. Can I park the Salcombe next to another ship? It's the same size as the Gagarin. It's in the same ship family, but I can do that quick. What about the NP experimental? Any additional testing? Darthon, I don't even remember the name of it. I'll swap back to the Salcombe to do that. When will the Credence make it to Muds? And not soon enough. Okay. So here is a Galaxy X Dread. And here's the Salcombe next to it. So it's pretty decently sized. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay, the request was Guillotine. Let's hit it. Guillotine Elite. Can you remove the middle pylon? Yes. Days of Doom after this? No. They should really put the Protostar in a Muds bundle to get the sales off people rushing to get DSCs done, yeah.
When the anchors are
Are they canceling Admiralty bonus week? If I could only play one Star game, which Star Wars game would I play? I actually, here's my controversial thing here. I don't care about Star Wars. I just never really got into it. And it looks like with that franchise, you know, what I've seen in the past several years is like a lot of content for it that seems to not be with mixed results. I know that there's some good stuff like Mandalorian, right? But there's also some decisions that were made. Like I've seen the movies, most of them, and like there's some good stuff there here and there, sure. But some of the newer stuff was a bit rough. No. I don't know if they'll ever fix the Executor dual heavy cannons. And you know, that issue is only impacting DPS parsing, so if you want to use them in normal gameplay, like that's fine. It also will not impact other people uploading. If you were concerned about like blocking others from uploading runs, like when you upload with Oscar, it should only block your portion of the upload. First, thank you for the sub. I've not watched Andor. It's just to make things exciting for you, Darthon.
deploy the stitching anchors. Stitching anchor deployed. Projecting shield now. Stitching anchor deployed.
Oh, for sure.
Projecting shield now.
You cannot make everyone happy. Like, I felt, you know, just on my side, I felt that the video I did going over this bundle, I tried to not, you know, focus much on like the meta stuff, and I don't think I even said uncon or meta, you know, much in there, if at all. But I still had people like going nuts in the comments, and there's one person who I'm pretty sure is just trolling, so I ended up just like muting him on the channel. But they were going off about like the, you know, just how they couldn't stand, that they're tired of like my take on things, and it's just like, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. Certainly don't have to come in and bitch about it every time. No way I know.
Successful deployment of shield to Stitching Anchor Prime. A Borg assimilator has been destroyed while attempting to flee. Stitching Anchor 1 shield is fully energized. Stitching Anchor deployed. Projecting shield now. A Borg assimilator was destroyed before. Confirmation. The Borg assimilator has been destroyed. You destroyed a Borg assimilator. Well done.
Terrible chance. Well, there isn't much DPSing going on here today. At least not for me. The Salcombe and the carrier both were doing fine on the Tuesday stream, but today, just with the servers, I cannot get stuff to go off for them. Some of the feedback I got this time around also was that I was too positive, that the bundle, that there were complaints that I was making the bundle out to be better than it actually is. Like, it's, if I'm negative about something, people get upset about it. If I'm positive about something, apparently that also will make people upset. Legendary Nagvar Torpor looking good, nice.
Observe. Something is disrupting the stitching network. The tactical
Yeah.
units are the source
You,
of
like, as a creator, you have to ignore that sort of stuff. That's... You're never going to make everyone happy, and there are just some people who will get to a point where they just want to always have the opposite opinion of what you have. That's just something you gotta deal with, you know, just with the internet in general. We gotta get that assimilator.
destruction of a fleet Borg assimilator is confirmed.
Is there a worse ship that they've made and changed? I mean, there's plenty. There's been plenty of bad ships released over the years. Could start the ship reviews being mad and end up being, and with them being positive. Yeah.
The enemy incursion has been thwarted. Your contributions were a critical part of our success. Well done. Through harmony, we are secure. Through unity, we are strong.
I mean, the original Excelsior is pretty bad. There's been lockbox ships that they've charged for that were not that impressive. I mean, the Packlid Clump ship, I mean, its entire thing was just being, you know, a meme last year. Like that, like there's been plenty of lockbox ships and promo ships that were just duds. And, you know, those they're charging hundreds of bucks for. Courier Raider. I mean, that at least for a while had its console going for it. The Duderstat. The Farragut. The Parliament. I mean, the lower deck ships with the dual America worker, right? The California. Like, the California to me is like money grab. You got the, you know, a really iconic ship that people want, and then it's, you look at its buff layout and it's just, you know, it's a dual America worker. And then they got a Muds bundle with like that, the Parliament and the Texas, and they're all the same, like dual America worker. The only miracle associated with that ship was that people bought it. Wow. Acheron. Yeah, the Acheron's a good one. The Grawl was definitely a release. The Zenkethi, or not Zenkethi, the Etherean Revelation was also not very well received. I mean, there's been a lot of lockbox science ships that weren't well received. Yeah. I mean that's going back to the power creep stuff from before is we're at a point with the stuff available that even the ships that are not viewed as being amazing can still do exceptional. Use my infinite power to design a ship. I mean, I've released videos like with theorycraft, theory crafting, like the ultimate build before, and it basically like that. So those videos, because I also had like Michi, Mara, I think even Cheops might have been involved with the one where we were going over like what would our ultimate ships look like, and it was basically all around like strike wing escorts. What is the best one pet ship in the game if I had to choose one? If I can only fly like one carrier, I mean, I feel like the friendship is probably the friendship, like as a platform. I mean, I like how it looks, and I know it's got pretty good synergy. Its accessories are decent. You had a Juggernaut, gotcha. You ate all the ships with detached nacelles except the Kirk. Yeah, so there is customization in here too. I know there's a question before about the middle nacelle on this, the middle pylon, whatever. You can change that. Yeah, Michi had a thought too. Michi thinks that a like a temporal, I think it was temporal command temporal, strike wing escort could compete against the mirror angle. Yeah. Okay, I was gonna go to the customization here. Yeah, and you also have this like this Galaxy era theme for it. You've got Armstrong, Mayflower. Yeah, so that is an option. And again, if you have the Parliament, this will kit bash with that. So you can make this look exactly like the Parliament. The only reason you don't fly the angle is because it's ugly. Terrible. Yeah, it's fair. We need new specializations to diversify and shake up ship builds. Yes, I think I think that they're aware of that. I I don't think we're going to see it this year, but I think there's enough interest on their side and there's been enough discussion that I do think in like the next year or two we might see a new specialization show up. Again, that's not you know anything official. That is just pure speculation on my part. This is what happens when you eat too much dilithium. Yeah, and that gives them a lot of options too. Like a new specialization would enable like so many new combos, so many new ways for them to go in and give us more versions of existing ships. So here's the Dartmouth skin on the Sal comb here. The Echelon, look at that beauty. What is my favorite Enterprise? I would say it's got to be the Sovereign. I always really liked the Sovereign. So having the Noble in game, the Sovereign and the Galaxy. I mean, those two, like the TNG DS9 era, like that's my favorite Trek era. Let's hit randomize here. That doesn't look bad, to be honest. That's that actually looks pretty good, not gonna lie. So here's like the normal Dartmouth with the what's going with that? That was Discovery era Terran. That looks really good. The pink purple stuff up here, not as much, but I think that looks pretty nice. What is my favorite alien ship and why is it the Mogai or Valdor? Uh, are the Picard nacelles in there? If you have the Echelon, I mean, that looks pretty good too. Except that part right there. Yeah, I mean, you have to own these other variants of the Gagarin to have all these customization options, but yeah, I mean, you've got an enormous amount of options with the ship now. And also all of the customization, oh, like all the materials. If you have the Vengeance too, you can even put the Vengeance materials on this. I often don't see a reason to buy new ships because I already have ships with similar enough spec seating. Definitely relate to that. The very few ships appeal to you nowadays. Yeah, yeah. We definitely. It just. I think for not even like for meta purposes, but just for just the general game, like they have to come out with some new options because we are definitely getting to that point where we have a lot of really good options, a lot of the best combinations we can get with the existing spec combos, and that will that's going to deter some people from going for some future ships unless there's something new about them. When is Crate Part 2 coming out? Not soon enough. Yeah. Yeah, indeed, Paul. Yeah, just lots of options there. The only one that's really limited with customization is the Newton. Because it was an awkward size, so it doesn't have other ships it can kit bash with. It is just on its own. You've got the Picard version and then the Kelvin. And I do like that the holes on the bottom can be different. So you can make some interesting abominations. Cursed, yes. Yeah. New specialization, new reps are way bigger to bring people back to game than new missions, yeah. Logical. Yeah. Just gotta have the servers cooperating to get the carrier build to work out right. And this again has access to all these different Kelvin materials. So freedom, Einstein, even the Sagan material. Would the meta change much if, say, T6X3 applied the ship's native trait without taking up a trait slot? That would just mean that the mere angle gets superior area denial slotted for free. Enraged. That would reinforce the current meta hard. What's the size difference between the Newton and Proxima? Someone bring a Proxima to Neurom orbit, and I'll hop up there in a moment. But yeah, I like the material on this. I think the Sagan. Let's go with that. Tier 7. Tier 7 will never happen. The introduction of Tier 6 ships, that caused a lot of people to quit the game. And that was after T5 ships being the best for, 4 years at that point. We've now had 12 years of Tier 6 ships being the top option. So I don't want a Brown Newton, no. Oh yeah. that's quite the size difference there. So that's the Proxima versus the Newton. Yeah, that makes sense. Is the Proxima good? No. Would they consider having the X3 giving a weapon slot? Probably not. Yeah. Do I think we will get the Lobby buffs and changes next week? I hope we see those soon. I would love to especially see the server performance improvements make their way live. Today's been a bit rough with the servers. Yeah, I mean, you can see that there's clearly a size difference between these two. Yeah, I get why they're not kit bashable. Yeah, let's do another infected here. Infected conduit elite public queue. I'll take the carrier build in again, and we will see how things go. That was a fast spot. Yeah, so yeah, to be clear, every ship in the game can get through the content. Every tier 6 ship. But there are ships that have weaker layouts that are going to make it a bit more challenging to extract performance from. Skylar, that probably will not happen. Now we wait. What about more shuttle missions? I think the interest in shuttle missions is shuttles in general is just too low. I don't foresee them ever giving us more shuttle content, or not anytime soon.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
Additional data is available.
And the activation time for some of this carrier stuff is bad.
The nanite probe can repair the transformers. Stop that.
Rear shield failing. Right shield failing.
The probe is closing in on the transformer. Destroy it.
Prepare for assimilation.
I forgot to hit my Gemini device, but yeah, that felt terrible. And there's something on my spam bar that's like clogging up my ability to get things to go off.
Sensors confirm that the transwarp conduit has been destroyed. However,
If I say the things I say, like I have thoughts about pet builds, Tubby. But if I say those thoughts, it makes people upset. Pet builds, every build type can get you, well, aside from drain just sucks, but for the most part the majority of playstyles are at a point where they have the potential to, you know, get you through any content the game has. But there are some setups, some playstyles where, like, when you've had hands-on with other ways to play, you can definitely feel that the impact of them is less. Carrier builds is one of those to me where you can go in with all of the expensive carrier toys. You can drop hundreds and hundreds of dollars to max out a carrier build, and no matter what you do, it does not have the potential to come close to what like an energy weapon build can do. For the same amount of money, you could have a build doing, if you are dropping hundreds to get a carrier build up to 1 million, for that same amount of money, you could probably have a do build doing 2-3 times that. It's always sort of depressing to see Potsy and an IC assuming they're running the absolute top-notch carrier build and then doing like 1 million, yeah. I think the concept of these new Kelvin shuttles is cool. The heal ones. And the crit chance, that's nice, but I would still be running 2 bays of type 7s personally. Like, I think the debuff value of having another bay of type 7s out is going to be more than 4% crit chance. Is carrier build? No. Torque builds would also still have much higher potential. Yeah, I mean the pets, the part of the issue is that they are still stuck at like the base 50 power. Now, there's clearly some issues going on with my build here today. I don't know if it's one of these consoles I'm using that is just screwing things up, but it definitely, like, I am seeing about half of the performance I saw the other day with this exact, like, not the exact build, but I did make a couple changes here. So part of that was I did drop the Hangarcraft consoles I was running. I tried to put like the Friendship console and the like Gemini and all that on, and I just think that with how I was flying, that these probably are doing more. Not even there's the pet builds. It depends on what you're doing, but if you're pushing the pet builds far, you're trying to buff up your pets and stuff, and there's a bit of work going into them. Indeed. I only put Gemini on because people in chat were saying put Gemini on. Trying to see behind the prompter here. Using your whole build to buff pets for them to only do 250k is a joke. Will using beam overload on a CSV build mess up the... No. What is the worst T6 ship? Probably like the Kabali Samzar or the Resolute. Yeah, you'll be fine. It's fine. Let's do more. We'll do another TFO here. Let's see. Hive Onslaught Elite. I'll swap to the for this one. I'll swap to the Armstrong. SLB, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, sorry today's not been the most positive of days. The servers sort of just suck today. You're craving for a Borg ship. The liberated Borg Juggernaut is generally the most affordable on the player exchange. That's on PC. That's usually like I think around 400 million. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but That's around like what was that 30, a little bit over $30 worth of keys. Cheops, it's just been a bit of a rough stream. Not the normal presentation that I would be trying to give y'all, but the servers have just been rough today. Bit of a mood zap right there. That and that UPS package, the delivery I was waiting for, it's not going to be here now till Monday because I didn't notice this and I used PayPal checkout, so I don't know how it happened, but my apartment number did not get put down on the label. So UPS, like the delivery driver noted that there was no address. I had to put an address change thing, and now it's going to be another 2 days because it's the weekend. So that sucks. We need more no coffee CasualSAB. Y'all just like suffering.
You will find clarity. You will have strength of purpose. You will be born. Your efforts are futile. Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
There we go. Let's see, we had deeps in there, so there wasn't much tanking happening, but did I at least get... I got the majority threat, but even doing a million DPS with plus threat stuff on, if there's a lot of deeps in there, it can be a bit rough to keep up. They are working on some improvements for the servers. We do on Saturday, but not on Sunday. I would have considered buying out the Cavort if it, number one, had a battle cloak, and number two, was it released 2 weeks before the Kelvin bundle. Yeah, that does cheer me up, Daniel. I mean, the GOM2 did pretty well. Where did all the Borg go? You know, someday we need to get like a Borg revamp that makes the Borg like actually difficult. That would be could you guys imagine that? Like some Borg NPCs like actually using like abilities. Oh, that was a gun. For sure. I don't know if Michi and Cheops are... Well, Cheops is just in chat, but I put something into Discord. Elite Plus, all Borg now have feedback pulse 4. Terrible. That would be interesting. Make Borg deadly again? Terrible. No longer being able to ease through elite Borg TFOs, there would be riots. Terrible. I'm concerned about whatever message Chiaps is typing. Have coffee barefoot. Thank you for the 2. Greatly appreciate it. Terrible. YouTube shouldn't be spamming ads like that. What would I think about an additional difficulty level to combat power creep? Yeah, I mean that's something that's been talked about, in the past couple of months, like with like an Elite Plus, but the issue is that as vocal as us on the high end, of the performance spectrum are, like how many of us are there? That's the thing. Skylar, thank you. Um, because it's got to be worth their time to do it, and if it's something that's only impacting, a vocal minority, that's not going to be worth their time. Yeah, the majority of people still find, even normal difficulty hard. I mean, I remember seeing something in the Discord about the new mission. Someone playing it on normal, and they were having issues like with the final portion of the new mission because their bridge officers were doing more damage than them and taking the threat from the Gorn. Like there's a lot of, as much of a bubble. We sort of live in a bubble of, having access to the higher performance, but there's a lot of people that are even having, issues with, normal still. How many people even do more than 100k in STO? It's, yeah, I mean, there's not that many. I mean, we have stats. Oscar tables. So this is, okay, all time. Um, so looking at advanced, now here's something to keep in mind with advanced. Well, with any of the DPS runs, people at very low DPS numbers with low combat times will not be uploaded. So those numbers are not going to be tracked. Basically, you think about how many people have issues like keeping up in TFOs, especially on the newer side if they don't know like what's going on in the TFO. Those players are not being uploaded even when you upload the parse because their combat time, will be far below what our requirements are for an upload. But out of the uploads here, you can see it's about 40% of people uploaded to infected advanced, um, that are over 100k. No, that is characters also. That's not like accounts. Okay, accounts here is right down below. That's a better metric to look at. Um, and still a decent number. I mean that's still a decent number. In my opinion, the problem is that unlike other games, there's nothing to do but DPS in this game. Yeah, I definitely have fallen into that bubble mindset many times, and I've thankfully had people, help me walk back out of it. But it is a mentality to keep in mind. Like, we're in a circle here of players that are, for the most part, able to blitz through lower difficulty content and even most elite. But that is not how the majority of players experience the game. It's just important to keep that in mind. A lot of people don't have a parser. Um, I think ultimately when it comes to like normal and advanced, well, just performance in general, people don't know what their performance is. It's not exposed to them. If there was an in-game parser, I think it'd be a little bit controversial. That there would be some people unhappy, seeing where their performance is. But for other people, it'd be beneficial to have that information exposed in the game, so that you can understand, where you're at. Yeah, I mean, we've seen, in the past tanks being, necessary for elite, but um I don't know. So I still think that there's ways for them to make elite content, the current elite, like there's ways for them to introduce new elites that are hard enough, challenging enough that we would need to have like a tank in there. Healers are a bit more questionable, but like I think there's room for them to still make tank content with the current elite. Okay, but look, I am gonna wrap things up here. The servers have sort of sucked today. I've definitely, that was a little bit of a vibe kill right there. Yeah. I am just looking at the Twitch side. I see Great Cornholio's live. We'll send folks over there on Twitch. Um, yeah, I'll try to get the video done, but I'm gonna go step away from the computer for a little bit, and I'm gonna find myself a cup of coffee because I need it. I need a coffee. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in, everyone. Stay tuned for videos, and for like the actual dedicated reviews, Salcombe first, and then the probably the Armstrong second. Yeah, thank you all for tuning around. We'll be in a positive vibes only next week. Positive vibes. So stay tuned for that. See you guys around. Okay, Twitch raid is out. Chiaps, terrible. See you guys around.